How we doing, everyone? Hope you're feeling pretty good. Hope you got plenty of W's over this last week. It's been a jam-packed week full of like some of the most hyped sneakers to drop this year. So of course we're gonna close out that week and recap some of the releases that we had. And like always, we're gonna look forward to some of those upcoming juicy releases. And guys, we've got a lot to look forward to. Now we do this every single Sunday. So if you like to stay up to date on all the latest sneaker release dates, rumors, and everything that encompasses the sneaker world, subscribe to the channel, chuck me a follow over on Instagram, and that way you can always stay in the loop. We're gonna start with the elephant in the room, one of the biggest releases for this year, the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Black Phantom. Now, these turned out to be quite an incredible release, which I don't know if I necessarily expected how many people wanted this pair of sneakers. These actually broke another record. Previously, the Jordan 1 Low Reverse Mocha Travis Scott's, those held the record for the most amount of Nike sneakers entries as well as the most amount of entries on the Travis Scott website. However, we now have data from the Travis Scott website release of these Black Phantoms, and they had over 3.5 million entries on the website alone. But yeah, when it comes to black and white sneakers in 2022, people are still all over them. As was speculated, there was a lot more stock than the reverse mochas, and it does kind of seem like that's the case because if you take a look at the resale price, it is definitely lower than we've seen on previous Travis Scott collaborations like the reverse mochas and the fragment. Black Phantoms have also already had 1,800 sales on StockX alone, which means that yes, there is probably a lot more pairs of these things circulating around. Regardless, let me know how the release went for you. Did you manage to get a W? Another drop that happened was the eBay dunks, one that I really wanted to get my hands on. I unfortunately struck out. I think this is such a cool pair of dunks, but at the same time, obviously take a look at them. They're not the most wearable sneakers by any means. Nevertheless, there's so much history behind this pair of sneakers, and just the story behind them in general is so ridiculously cool. To have this pair in your collection is definitely a really solid thing. And then one of the more hyped up pairs of dunks, they also dropped, and they are going to be upcoming as well. That is the Orange Lobster Nike SB Dunk Low. They've released pretty much everywhere. Here in the EU, we had our Nike sneakers release. All of the skate shops did their releases as well. However, for you guys out in the US, they are upcoming. There is going to be a Nike sneakers release on December the 22nd. Let me know your W's, let me know your misses, drop it down in the comments, but we need to get into this upcoming stuff, so let's jump into it. We're gonna kick it off with the final Jordan 1 for 2022, guys. It is this pair right here, the Pony Specials, the Jordan 1 High Twist 2.0. Now, if you didn't catch my SneakerCon London vlog, I actually unboxed this pair of sneakers, so I will have a review up. I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion on these things. Are you gonna be going for them, or are you gonna be passing? I understand kind of both ways because it's a super clean looking shoe from afar. I just do think, like, listen, the pony hair throws it off just quite a bit. Either way, in terms of release date, these are going to be dropping on December the 22nd. They are loaded up both on the UK and the US Nike sneakers app. There's a bunch of raffles floating around, so if you're after them, you shouldn't have any issues picking these things up. Next up, we got some more very interesting images of the Jarrito dunks. I think that's how you call it. I think you guys flamed me in the last video for calling these things Jarritos, so don't worry. The Jarrito Nike Dunk Low SB, and it actually features tearaway materials, which is something that we haven't seen, and now we're getting these really detailed images. These are going to be dropping spring 2023, and I think that they are pretty decently hyped. It's crazy to see that the dunk hype has just really not slowed down. Like, people are still in love with dunks. And I think that might just be because there's so many different types of dunks. Like, it's not just one sneaker model. You've got the SB versions, you've got the regular versions, you've got the crazy collaboration. It's kind of like there's something for everyone when it comes to the Nike Dunk. It looks super wearable on the outside, like super nice colors and materials. And then you've also got this cutaway material, basically reveals, I guess, an orange leather underneath, or at least it kind of looks like leather. No exact release date, but just keep in mind, these should be dropping springtime 2023. Now, in previous episodes, we've spoke a lot about what Jordan Brand is planning for 2023. But one pair of Jordans that has kind of gone under the radar for a while is this pair right here. We finally have the first looks at the Jordan 1 High washed black. Now, seeing these things in a crispy high-res image, laced up, ready to go, I'm looking at these things like, you know what, these might be one of the most anticipated sneakers for 2023. Really nice materials, very similar to what we saw on the Hyper Royals from 2021 or 2020. This one comes in obviously a lot more of a neutral color palette, just being white sail and then this darker gray color. Overall, I think these things are absolutely banging. I think these are super clean. Now, in terms of release date, these are apparently coming on June the 10th. Speaking of anticipated Jordans, the Nike Sneakers app did a live stream and they showcased some of the sneakers that we can be expecting next year. And the first ones we're going to talk about is the Seafoam Jordan 4s that they pulled out on that live stream. So we finally got an official name, which is the Oil Green. Here's a picture from the live stream that they had these things up on. These are apparently going to be dropping on February the 9th. Now, House of Heat is not saying that these are a women's release, at least I can't see here. Potentially it is just a full size run of this pair of sneakers. Either way, I think it's super clean. It's a solid pair of 4s, nothing too crazy, but definitely one to look out for next year. As of right now, for me personally, one of my most anticipated Jordans for next year is the Jordan 4 Craft, and we have some crispy official images. Yes, guys, these things are very unexpectedly going to be a must cop for me. I saw these things at SneakerCon. Z Sneakerheads actually wore them, so I saw them on foot for the first time ever, and I was like, this is a must cop. These things are so clean. Now, we do have these official images, which I did want to show you guys, and again, just remind you that the release date is February the 11th. Speaking of this new craft thing that Jordan Brand is leaning into, we've got first looks at the upcoming Jordan 5 craft. Take a look at this here, and these are actually incredibly nice as well. I guess Jordan Brand is just doing this craft thing, and it's really working. I'm sure that they're going to come up with their whole storyline behind the craft idea, what exactly that means, but the shoes that we've seen so far with this craft naming have been absolutely super dope. The only thing that's kind of a little bit odd is that tongue area. You've got like an orange Jumpman, at least from these images, and then the same thing on the reverse of that tongue. It just throws me off a little bit because it's kind of like, where are we going with the colorway on that? Like, surely you would have just left it gray. In terms of release date, apparently these are going to be dropping on June the 17th, 2023. Obviously, as we're getting closer to the end of the year, what can we expect for like the beginning of January, the beginning of 2023? Well, in terms of Jordan 1s, this right here, the Jordan 1 True Blue is going to be the first Jordan 1 release for 2023, and these are going to be dropping on January the 14th. We have official images. These things are pretty decent. I will say that they are looking pretty clean. I don't know about this material. From the on-foot looks, it looked to be pretty good, but these official images aren't looking too great. Let me know what you think of these things. Is this a must cop for you? Now, following this pair of ones, we've also got, of course, the reverse Laneys. This is another pair of Jordan 1s that we've seen leaked and rumored for a while now. Here is the original Laney from 2013. Nothing too crazy. I believe these are official images. This is where the leather looks a lot softer, at least in terms of these images in comparison to the True Blues. I think it's going to be super interesting just to see where the Jordan 1 goes in 2023. We've got a lot of really dope colorways upcoming for that year, but again, throughout 2022, we've just seen a steady decline for the hype of the Jordan 1 silhouette. Either way, these are going to follow those True Blues. These are dropping on February the 17th, so another early 2023 Jordan 1 release. Another sneaker that is supposed to be dropping early 2023, we don't actually have a specific release date, but from all of the different sources, they're saying sometime in January. It's the Ma Maniere Jordan 12. Now, there's two colorways that are going to be dropping. Now, we've seen the black pair over and over again, so I wanted to show you these detailed images of the white pair, which we haven't seen too much of. Personally, I think I might prefer the white pair. I just think it's a little bit brighter. It's a really nice mix with that, I guess, what are they calling this, maroon or Bordeaux color? Again, a solid collaboration and one to kind of look forward to at the beginning of 2023. We don't have a specific release date. I would just keep your eye out for January. And I think right now, the most hyped pair of Jordans that is going to be dropping in 2023 is, of course, the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined, and we do have some on-foot looks, so you guys could take a look at these. We've seen all of the like in hand, we've seen a lot of different images, but this is the first time we're seeing them on foot, and let me know what you guys think. Is this what you wanted from a reimagined style of the Jordan 3? I can't see why not. These things look incredibly good, so it's pretty obvious that they're going with some kind of retro theme with this sneaker. Jordan Brand really leaning into that kind of retro aged effect with a lot of their sneakers at the end of 2022, and it looks like the beginning of 2023 as well. I'm happy with these. I think they look absolutely phenomenal. It's very easy to understand why a lot of people are going to be after this pair of sneakers. These are again going to be dropping on March the 11th, 2023. That's something that Nike is going to try and explore next year in 2023 to kind of keep that dunk hype alive. They're going to start dropping Nike Dunk mids. That's right. We've seen the lows, we've seen the highs. highs, we've seen the collabs, but the mids is something we really haven't seen that much of. And this is going to be one of the colorways that of course they try and lean into. Of course, this is the panda colorway. However, this is completely canvas material. Now you're gonna have to let me know what you think of the Dunk mid. Usually anything with the mid name attached to it in terms of sneakers never really does that well. I expect these to drop at some time early 2023. House of Heat is saying springtime. Next up, we've got some on-foot looks at the upcoming Run the Jewls Nike SB Dunk collection. So two different sneakers, both different colorways. This is the Nike SB Dunk low. Very, very interesting looking pair of dunks. We've also got the highs, which we have taken a look at the on-foot looks previously. They're both speculated to drop in April 2023. Now, a sneaker collaboration model that never really took off in 2022. This is the upcoming Clot collaboration on the Nike Cortez. So like I've said, this year there was kind of a little bit of a push with Union Cortezes, the Salehe Cortez. They never really took off that much in terms of hype. Well, this is definitely an interesting take. And apparently we're going to be getting 3 different colorways. There's this one, which I think is the most interesting. Either way, the color codes for the 3 different colorways are black Varsity Maze, black and white, which is the one we took a look at, and white Game Royal and University Red, which I believe is going to be like that classic white, blue, red colorway of the Nike Cortez, the Forrest Gump, if you will. Anyway, this is looking to be a spring 2023 release. Next up, we got first images of the upcoming New Balance 2002 R Protection Pack, something that really took over in 2022. Well, they're going to be making more colorways in 2023, and we've got to look at 2 of them. So there's this all over gray colorway, and then we've got this all over navy colorway, which is super, super clean as well. I think the protection pack is phenomenal, and they should definitely continue with this sneaker model. We don't have any specific release dates on these 2 colorways, but just know that they are coming at some point 2023. Got some very, very detailed looks at the upcoming Ambush and Nike Air Force One. So they just released 2 different colorways, the green and then the blue colorway. However, these I think are going to be way more popular. I'm really, really liking the design of this one. Now, in terms of release date, we don't have that exactly for either of these 2 colorways, but we know that they're going to be coming at some point early 2023. Let me know which colorway is your favorite. Personally, again, mine is the white. Now, a sneaker release that's right around the corner, which I just wanted to remind you guys, is the New Balance 990 V2 Sand Be the Time Salehe Bembury collaboration. These are going to be dropping on December the 22nd. That should be on newbalance.com. I think there might be a release on Salehe Bembury's website. You just know that they're going to be nailing this collaboration, and I think it's a solid one if you did want to go out there and grab it. Who remembers the story of Zadeh kicks from earlier this year? The massive reselling giant that had to dissolve because he ended up being an absolute scammer. It was literally one of the biggest stories this year. It led to thousands of sneakerheads being scammed for millions of dollars. Essentially, Zadeh Kicks was a popular sneaker pre-ordering service, and they essentially just closed down, leaving a bunch of sneakerheads out of millions of dollars. Now, some of the customers who did get scammed by Zadeh Kicks did actually get their money back. However, many of them didn't. And now you can buy Zadeh Kicks sneaker inventory on eBay. Essentially, Zadeh Kicks has a bunch of sneakers left in his inventory, and they're trying to offload it to pay back some of the customers who got scammed. And now they're literally selling on eBay under the name of Pacific Kicks. So in total, there are nearly 500 individual SKUs up for sale, totaling 3,691 size variants with around 185 items sold so far. Court documents reveal that eBay was preferred over other marketplaces due to their 8% selling fee and favorable terms. So essentially, eBay had the lowest fees, and they're trying to make back as much money as possible from all of Zadeh Kicks inventory. It's a pretty hilarious end to Zadeh Kicks and all of the sneakers that he amassed. Obviously, it is savage if you did end up getting scammed, but there's been so many scams this year, whether it's sneakers or resellers or crypto. There's a lot going on in 2022. So this next one is actually pretty interesting because it really got me thinking about the gaping hole that Adidas and Yeezy left in the sneaker game by parting ways. And it shows with the title of this article, Nike is expected to see a surge in holiday sales due to Adidas and Yeezy parting ways. So we all know that in the sneaker game, holiday season is time for people to drop sneakers. It's time for Jordan Brand to get some of their hottest releases out, and previously it was time for Yeezy to just drop a bunch of different sneakers. But actual numbers on this, Wedbush analyst Tom Nikitt stated that the 3 Stripes is set to lose $530 million in its total revenue. That is 10%. If if things stay the same and another brand doesn't come in and kind of fill that void that Yeezy left, it's going to be a takeover of just Jordan Brand and Nike sneakers. While there's no Yeezys, there's really nothing that kind of competes with big retro Jordans or even Nike collaboration drops. I think 2023 something needs to change just to add a little bit of diversity to the sneaker game. As much as I love Jordan Brand and Nike sneakers, I also like the idea of having a fresh, different brand with a different take on sneaker design. Either way, let me know what you think about that. Let's get into today's final story, which could be an upcoming cold winter for sneaker releases. Here's the headline: Nike and Adidas reportedly reducing production numbers by 30 to 40% in 2023. So it says here that reports indicate that large footwear manufacturers have notified their manufacturing facilities and reducing their order volumes by 30 to 40% starting in the summer of the 2023 season. Now, insiders are also stating that this will likely run throughout the latter half of 2023, meaning releases in 2024 may see a major decline. Now, this slashing production from Adidas and Nike is due to just slowing demand in general, and it's something that we've kind of seen pretty heavily in 2022. I guess we can all kind of feel it. The sneaker game is a little bit died down, and obviously there's the rise in people hurting financially. A lot of these, I guess, hyped up releases are already artificially super limited. So if they're cutting production, could things get a lot worse in terms of limited sneakers? Could we be taking a lot more L's towards the end of 2023 and into 2024? It is definitely possible. That pretty much wraps it up for today's episode. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another episode. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then,